Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy, Big Blue Drew 97 here to talk to you about My Hero Academia chapter, you kind of saw my little script there, chapter 240 titled Power. And when it comes to this chapter of My Hero Academia, oh, what is this? Is that a new poster? Yes, I have background images now, so this is exciting. This is basically what I was going to say about a little bit more work in the background. I still have a little bit more to deal with, but it's there. Like, it fits. My Hero Academia poster. Right behind me is a Why So Serious painting, obviously the Joker, and right around there we go, is just the Chinese kanji for fire. Yeah, this is just the embodiment of me being a nerd, but that's besides the point. But tie into, let me see if I can do this. This picture right here. Yeah, this chapter was fire, mainly because, spoiler alert, it is the end of the League of Villains saga. So basically this chapter is the penultimate chapter of this entire saga, because if you haven't known, basically over the past few arcs, which included the Endeavor Redemption arc, the Gentle arc, and most recently the end of the League of Villains versus the Liberation Army arc, has all basically been the accumulation of the Hero League of Villains, or the Villain Saga. And this is basically the end of it, and it basically ends on a very, very high note. To start off with, at the beginning of the chapter, we get a lot of fake news. And then, when I mean fake news, I mean, like, it's really fake. Like, it shows, like, the depths of the Liberation Army has on not just the people's beliefs, but when it comes to, like, the media as a whole, which makes sense because the first few scenes that we see is, like, basically they say, like, oh, what happened in this city is that a group of 20 villains comes in and basically destroyed the cities, tricked the heroes into living, killing a lot of the citizens, and that these 20 villains died. But in actuality, it was all fake. But they were able to basically forge all of this because most of the citizens that lived in that city were a part of the Liberation Army, so they could have easily faked it. Which kind of ties into, like, what we saw the heroes, who those heroes are. It was basically a form of alibi, at least that's what I believe. So they made up this entire story of all these villains, and the worst part about it is the fake news worked. Like, this ideal of liberation was able to spread. Even though, yes, the heroes and the police were against it, the citizens were for it. Because they also brought up the fake news as like, oh, a lot of citizens died, but a lot more would have died if it wasn't for the fact that the citizens used their quirks. So, at the very least, what the Liberation Army accomplished is swaying the public's view in the same vein as what Stain did. Now, Stain was like, Stain's view was that these are what true heroes should be. They should be able to serve the people without any type of reward whatsoever. And the Liberation Army is like, and we need to liberate the people so that they can use their quirks freely. And even though their initial plans didn't work, the repercussions of what they did still reciprocates throughout society, and that's what the Liberation Army was about. And then immediately after that fake news instance, we tie up to the loving bond between the League of Villains, because we immediately cut after the fake news, after, like, they've created all these articles, we cut to the League of Villains. We see Compress, we see Dobby, we see Spinner, we see Twice. And they just have, like, a lot of the great banter. Like, Dobby calls out Compress. It's like, yo, you didn't even do anything during this fight. He's like, yeah. And Spinner's like, yo, Dobby, do you want to finish your food? And he's like, nah, I don't like fish. And you have Twice just in the background crying over a picture of Toga. And it's like, how the picture is presented is that it's basically like a memorial picture, because in Japanese culture, they believe that you should honor the dead. And what Twice has done is, like, basically put a picture of Toga during her last moments, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's so bad that she's dead. I miss her already. and she's not dead. She's literally in the back saying to Twice, it's like, yo, this weird looking at myself dead. So if anything, I enjoyed the banter between the League of Villains because it just shows that they aren't just like one-note villains with like no character whatsoever. Like, they are, for the most part, somewhat of a family unit, dysfunctional family, but a family union, and are able to play off of each other well. And then eventually we realize that later on that where they are stationed right now is basically under the not control, but they are under the care of the Liberation Army, and I will explain that more later. But like, you just have like this entire interaction, and I just enjoyed it heavily. And immediately afterwards, we see like the two main bosses of the Liberation Army, the dude who's able to rally up people, and dude who's like basically able to have like a similar ability as Twice. They basically like say like, yo, we're gonna go, and Twice just yells out, it's like, what the heck are you doing in here? And this leads into like a funny conversation where it's like, yo, you gotta come with us, because like, think about it like this, like, yo, we healed you, we gave you food, we gave Toga her coat, and Twice is like, yeah, but who showed you to this swanky place? And it's just like, yeah, Twice, it was also them. But like, and it was just hilarious to me. But what I enjoyed the most was the reference to Toga's coat. Because if we remember, basically at the beginning of the Liberation Army versus the League of Villains, Toga was complaining, and they were all complaining about how like they couldn't eat, and they didn't have a place, and that Toga was cold, and she wanted like a new coat. So this is just confirmation of like, they were able to get whatever they wanted through Shigaraki. So this shows a few things. That one, they have a lot of backing from the Liberation Army, and that two, Shigaraki delivers on his promises to the people that like he cares about, or that who serves under him, like the League of Villains. Like, this shows that Shigaraki like has built a connection with them and like actually cares about his basically subordinates, and like that is just a great thing to have in a villain, something that's relatable. Sure, he has done some dastardly things, but like, he cares about the people that are under him, and that's something that we can relate to. So just that one line just solidifies that Shigaraki and the League of Villains aren't just one-note villains, that they are actual characters, and that is what I enjoy about this. But this ties into the point of like, they go down to basically like, it goes from like, oh yeah, they're not like cliched villains, but they do a very cliche villain thing of having like basically like a brick wall stairwell that leads them downstairs, which is like the pinnacle of just like comic book villainy. And they just walk out into an entire room filled with Liberation Army supporters. And during this entire time, Destro just gives a powerful speech about what is going on right now, and how he basically sounds like he's a cult fanatic, that he believes in Shigaraki in like a cult-like manner, like singing his praises, telling him like how he saw like the error of his ways, and how he saw true liberation like a cultist. And it's just hilarious, like, that he's just so devoted to Shigaraki now. And he's speaking out to the crowd, in the crowd, we also see Gigantomachia, and he just towers over everyone else. But he goes into this, like, eloquent, like, crazy speech. And then he introduces Shigaraki, and probably one of, like, the most iconic parts of this entire chapter is that the Liberation Army and the League of Villains are no more. That at this moment, there is a new organization, and it's called the Paranormal Liberation Front. And that is just a cool name, especially with the paranormal. Because, like, when I think paranormal, I just think, like, supernatural stuff. But it's, like, paranormal as in against the norm. Like, basically going against the norm, which makes sense for a Liberation Army going against the norm. Paranormal Front. And probably the best line that Shigaraki says within this, he's like, this new name is like your speech, irrelevant and go wild. So, for clarification, I'm not 100% sure if this is the official name of the organization, because it is not officially sub-dubbed in Shonen Jump, but I still think that it's probably going to retain like something similar. So, yeah. all in all, like, and then Shigaraki basically calls out that just go wild, which solidifies like his like ideals of like, yo, I don't really care, I just want destruction, but I will support whatever you do, so just go wild. So, and that was just a fun scene, and we also get to see like basically like the 9 like pillars of the new organization, which includes Redestro and his 2 underlings who are still alive, as well as the 5 remaining. Yeah, wait, let me do the math. You got 5, and you got 3. Yeah, I'm trying to, actually, yeah, it should be like 9. So it's basically like who's ever left of the Liberation Army, including Redestro, and then whoever is left of the League of Villains. So you have Twice, you have Toga, you have Compress, you have Dobby, and you have Spinner. So like you have those 5, and then the rest are Liberation Army members. So immediately after that, we cut to just Shigaraki just basically calling the doctor. And like, this is something else. Yeah, he calls the doctor and he's like, yo, doctor, yo, I did like what you told me to do. I made Machina like bend to my will. So you're gonna help me, right? And the doctor's like, just before Shigaraki even talks about that, he just snarly comments of like, oh yeah, the name isn't that bad. It's more better than just the cliche League of Villains. So basically now the doctor's on Shigaraki's side. Giganto Machia is on his side, and literally an entire army of supporters who praise him in a cult-like fashion now are on his side. And then we probably get to the shocking part of this entire chapter, is that in the crowd we see Hawks, and it is strongly implied in a flashback that Hawks has some blood on his hands. He has some blood on his clothing, as well as blood on Best Jeanist. It is implied that he kills Best Jeanist, and here's the thing, is that it's implied that he kills Best Jeanist, but Dobby makes a comment of like, yo, I cannot confirm 100% sure if this is Best Jeanist or if this is just some random scrub, but you killed somebody, so you're already deep in it. So that's a cool reference, a cool like concept of like, this could be Best Jeanist, this could not be Best Jeanist, but it is a dead body. I mean, no matter how you look at it, even if like Hawks wins, the heroes win, Hawks is sullied because he took a life. Whether it was of Best Jeanist, who was the second best hero or third best hero, one of the best heroes, or of just a random person, like he has blood on his hands, and that is something that's going to follow him for the rest of his existence. And not only that, we also get like more of like what Hawks is like. Hawks comes to the realization of like, yo, Shigaraki is like more dangerous than we thought. He has an entire army backing him now. He basically has an entire army that rivals the heroes. And now he's realizing, yo, I gotta get to the bottom of this and tell Endeavor before it's too late. And chapter ends with like, this is basically like the pinnacle of this chapter, and we're gonna enter a new arc. What is this new arc going to be? I don't know. What could it possibly entail? Probably another arc revolving around the heroes. So Deku, Bakugo is gonna come back, and here's something cool. We have spent basically 10 plus chapters without the main character, and this arc has been great. Like, all in all, this has been a great arc, and this was a great chapter. And realistically speaking, I was thinking that I was going to give it a 4 out of 5. No. This is a 5 out of 5 chapter, because it is a good wrap-up of everything that we've seen. It has great development of the characters, as in reference to the villains, as well as great interactions between them. I love the interactions between Toga and Twice, Spinner and Dobby and Compress, even with like just Shigaraki and Redestro. And funny thing is that Redestro is sucking up to Shigaraki, and he's like, Redestro's like, oh, do you want some water? I can get you something to drink. And Shigaraki's like, go away. He's like, yes sir, and just leaves. He's basically like a yes man, and it just looks like, everyone was looking like, wow, I guess this is how he got to the top. And then, like, his, like, lackeys who are now Shigaraki's lackeys, like, I missed the old Destro. And, like, just the comedy was on point. Like, I really enjoyed reading this chapter and rereading it again for this video. I enjoyed it even more. So, like I said, this is a 5 out of 5 chapter. Hopefully you enjoyed this review and enjoyed this chapter. And hopefully I can straighten up this entire area right here and make it seem a little bit more presentable for these videos. Eventually, hopefully, I'll be able to start getting higher quality videos out for you, because at this moment in time, I am recording these videos on my phone, and it's not like horrible quality, but I think that the quality could be better. So hopefully, within maybe a few months, hopefully not that long, I'll be able to get better quality videos and able to get it videos out to you quicker and better, because I have a job that requires me to work from 8 to 6. So you may be getting this video late at night around 9. I can't really control that, but hopefully this video can go out today and then y'all can enjoy it whenever. So until next time, I will catch you guys later. Goodbye for now.